Hello, I'm going to do this video about escalating rents in the United States. As a truck driver, I drive all across the United States, get to see some of the best cities, the best skylines, and I get to see the good and the bad of America. I also get to see homelessness in cities like Seattle, Portland, Washington. I get to see things in Houston, Dallas, all across the country, DC, and so I get to see things on the front line. I'm going to save my commentary until the end of the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please don't be a stranger to the like button. I really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithms. Peace.
Here's why the rent in American cities is so expensive. A city's rent is dictated by its housing stock. If there's more people than there are housing units, the rent goes up. Think of it like a giant musical chairs. New York City, for example, between 2010 and 2020, built 200,000 new apartments. However, in that same time, more than 600,000 people moved into the city. That means there's over 3 new people fighting for each chair. And unlike the game for kids, the winner in this game is whoever has the most money. And the losers are the most vulnerable and whoever's the poorest. So how do we fix this? Rules like rent control and regulations may help around the margins, but the only true way to fix this problem is you gotta build enough chairs for everybody, and that means building a lot more housing in our cities. But this is easier said than done. There's a lot of systemic obstacles that keep us from building new housing. A lot of communities block new projects for fear that will change the character of the neighborhood, add more traffic, or even worse, bring undesirable people into their town. A lot of other cities have something called single-family zoning, which means it's actually illegal to build apartments or any other multi-story building in large parts of the city. There's no reason for our cities to be this expensive, and we have the tools and the ability to fix it. It's just a matter if we're willing to do what it takes to get there.
I would have to disagree that $2,100 a month is damn cheap. And a lot of people have commented this, but it's just not true. So I'm going to explain why. The national average salary in the United States right now is $59,000, and $59,000 after taxes, your take home every month is about $3,800. So if you are a household or a single person living off of that one salary, that rent right there is more than half of what you're making. And that's just the average. So of course there's going to be people that are well below the average who cannot even afford a $2,100 rent that you guys are saying is cheap. Now, I'm not ungrateful at all. I'm blessed that we are able to afford this $2,100 of rent, which we got at this rate because we moved during COVID, during the height in 2020. We moved there in 2020 during the height of COVID, and they were having a really good deal because they were desperate to get people in. Now, unfortunately, that rent is about $3,000, but why are we normalizing? Why are we normalizing $2,100 a month of rent as being cheap when the majority of people in the United States don't even make enough to afford this type of rent? So many people have roommates. So many people who are families and have multiple children are living in an apartment instead of living in a house, which is what we are saving for. We're never going to own this apartment. We're all just throwing our money away, renting instead of buying. We have no buying power right now as millennials and as Gen Zers. Why aren't we able to afford to buy things like the generations before us did? How come we're the ones that are screwed? I was born and raised in California. It's not going to be possible for me to buy a home here because the average price of houses here, and these are old houses, like 1950s houses, is about $700,000. I thought I made decent money. Last year was the most I ever made, right? I thought that we would be able to afford a house. We're not going to be able to afford a house that's almost $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So I understand people saying $2,100 is cheap. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than other places, but we are all of us are being overcharged for rent And these houses are insanely expensive. And there's like no chance of most people ever even being able to afford to buy a house in their lifetime. That's sad.
I quite literally have $7.41 in my checking account right now. And all I know is that God is faithful. I'm not worried about all the other stuff. You know why I have $7? It's because all my bills are paid. He provided a way for my bills to be paid. And now I got...
I'm back at it again with my rent rant. Because why is a studio apartment $2,500? Like, please, like, tell me. And the worst of it all is, like, why is a studio apartment $2,500 in the Bronx? Or why is it in an area where there's nobody at? I don't understand. They said the more buildings there were, the more the rent, the competition was gonna lower it. Why isn't the competition lower it? The rent somehow still stays at the same price. Why is a 1-bedroom $2,000? I feel like back in the old days, a 1-bedroom was like $900. At least that's what I thought. Why is the studio $2,500? I don't get it. When somebody finds the answer, please let me know. Please, like...
You the one here for the house tour?
Yeah, that's me.
Now, before we head in, did you bring all that paperwork I requested? Yeah, let's see. Proof of employment, credit report, health screening, my 2nd grade diary. Yeah, it's all here.
Fantastic.
So anyway, about the place, you said it was a 2-bedroom? Well, no, what I said was it was a 2-bed, 1-bath. Right, 2-bedroom. 2 beds. Well, technically 1 bunk. Wait, what? The unit itself is a studio. You gotta be kidding me. Then why is it so expensive? What do you mean? I mean, there's no way a studio is worth half my salary. Are you kidding? This place is great, and you can't beat the location. It's overlooking a 6-lane highway. Look, I mean, if you don't want it, I got 8 applications already in. How are 8 people interested in a place like that? Let's see. Increased rental demand due to ridiculous home prices, coupled with us landlords going completely unchecked when it comes to raising rent, kinda means that you people are just out of luck when it comes to options. Wow, that is so messed up. But I do have a cheaper place available if you'd rather look at that. How much cheaper? Only half the price, and the best part is, it's right next door. What are you talking about? There's nothing next door except for that.
Before I start complaining, I just want y'all to know I'm grateful for the things that I have. But hear me out. I got my new lease for my apartment, and the rent going up. I looked at that and I was like the chick, like, y'all, why they keep doing this? I don't want to keep going up in rent. My pay not going up. They need to hold on. Wait a minute. Like Willow said, I'm about to live in my car. I'm going to keep telling y'all that, okay?
I was telling people this for over 2 years, that they are gouging on apartments. They are gouging on houses. What they are doing, if they have 50 apartments for rent, they take 40 off the market and put 10 on the market. And after renting those 10 out, they put another 10, and then they keep doing the same thing. They are doing this with housing also. So please don't believe that there ain't no house for sale, because there are a lot of houses for sale. But if the market look like it don't have houses for sale, then they can keep the prices up. This is what they are doing all over the country. And some people don't understand this. I told people repeatedly, that there are a lot of apartment buildings that is empty, available to rent, but they take them off the market. And by taking them off the market, they can gouge on the prices. And this is what this company called Cortland in Atlanta is doing. But thank God the FBI has caught up with their scheme, and they are now under seriously investigation. And I hope they join Mr. You-Know-What with the same you-know-what, because these people need to be taken down. They are gaining millions of dollars on your backs. They don't give a shit about the middle class. They don't give a shit about the poor people. So what they do, they gouge on prices to buy their jets and their this and their that and their this, and they care less. And this company now that is based in Atlanta, the government, the FBI is taking them down. please follow the posting. Like.
What really sucks about what's going on is that it seems like no one cares. You don't see our elected officials really making any calls about this. Millions of people are complaining. On one level, some people can't find jobs. On another level, people have jobs, but they're spending all of their money on housing. They're 1 week, 2 weeks away if they were to lose their job from not even being able to afford a place to stay. When you have so many people in the country who, if they were to lose their jobs, they would not even have a place to stay. That means there's a serious problem in the country. Now, some people would say, well, save your money and buy a house. Well, here's the problem with that. Even when you go to buy a house, a lot of the houses you need to put 10, 15, 20% down, and it's still really expensive. Like, the average person doesn't have $20,000, $30,000 or $40,000 laying around to invest in a house, and then they will find themselves locked into a long-term contract where if the same thing were to happen with them losing their jobs, they would not have a place to stay. So I think what we need in the United States is a law or bill passed to keep it at a certain level, to keep things from escalating. We can't just have it to where, rents are just escalating from 1 year to the next year. So for all of my people out there struggling, listen. Let your voices be heard. This is an election year. We should not be silent about this. It is a serious issue. And I think that if we all make enough noise, something will change. But if we're quiet about our oppression, then nothing will change. Everyone deserves a place to stay. We are a first world country, allegedly. Everyone deserves a place to stay, especially if they're out there working for it, grinding for it. Peace.